Presidential elections and the entire general elections have always been determined by a few men who sit in boardrooms, and so is the leadership, including the presidency, your governor, your MCA. These politics have always been controlled in with a few people who are seated in a five-star hotel, and all of them come with briefcases purported to be votes. For instance, a person from the Kikuyu community comes and tables their votes. A person from the Luo community comes and tables their vote. From the Luya community comes and tables their vote. From the Kalenjin community comes and tables their votes, and so on, so forth. Therefore, for a very long time, you as a mwananchi, the process of you registering with the IEBC has just been a default one, has just been something that is just a tradition to show the society that your voice matter, which the true thing is that it really doesn't matter. Whether you vote or not, the leader has already been decided. They have already been predetermined. Now, this is a revelation that is coming from one Ndindi Nyoro, from one of the interviews he was having. And I'm going to play this clip for you.
From independence, siasa is determined in boardrooms. Mkikuyu anakuja na briefcase ya kura yake. Mujaluo anakuja, briefcase ya kura yake. Mukalijin, briefcase ya kura yake. They meet in such a hotel. They make a transaction. Transaction is made by 5 men. What is there to be divided is divided within those 5 men. Now we want to change that narrative now. And we want to change that conversation from a few men sitting down to decide to the people deciding which course our country should take. Yes, we will have a leader, but let us have a leader leading issues.
Well, you've heard it for yourself. What is meant to be divided, or what is meant to be given to the society, they are not going to get it. But these persons will receive them in or on behalf of the mwananchi. That is why you've been seeing, for instance, I'll give you a good example. I know some of you will agree with me and some of you will not agree with me. Let's take, for instance, Raila Amolo Odinga. Ever since Raila Amolo Odinga have been vying for presidency, not at any one point has ever been able to emerge at the top, whether the votes have been stolen or not. There's no single day he's been ever named as the president of Kenya. But that is not the point. The point is he's never out in the opposition. He always finds himself in a government. Why? He always uses the voice, the power he has in terms of consolidating and making the Luo Nyanza, the entire western region, which now they've coined a term by the name bedroom. Now they say Luo Nyanza is Baba's bedroom. So he uses all that to make sure that he is in a government. So you have always been a bargaining chip for these politicians. They don't speak for you, but they speak for themselves. So whenever they get into those meetings, there's always be like, okay, what is in there for me? Remember, these people are running businesses. Some of them illegal, and some of them are legal, but they don't want to follow all the legal procedures, payment of taxes, and all that, kind of stuff. Some of them want to be refunded their monies for campaigns. So that is it. They say, let me give you 2-3 CSs, let me give you this and this. Because if you are keen, ask yourself, they coin sweet terms like, broad-based government, handshake, the coalition government, just but to make you feel that, we are now represented. my friend and a fellow citizen, you are not represented. Otherwise, the person there is the person representing himself for the sake of his specific generation and the generational wealth that they have accumulated. So they don't want the status quo to change, because that again will put their businesses in limbo. So, as Ndindi Nyoro says, it is time that we actually shift from the leadership whereby 5 men sit down in a boardroom, decide who is gonna become the leader, to a societal, to a people-driven leadership. Let the people decide that this is the person that we want. Let the people pressure someone like, it is you we want, we need to vie for this particular seat. And I, for once, love the drive that Maura Kebaso was bringing in, like a people-driven campaign instead of an individual-driven campaign. Because if I use like 10, 20 million for campaigns, I give kickbacks 50 shillings, 100 bob, 200 bob, 500 bob, 1,000, bring certain things to my community so that they could simply vote me in. It means, in a business perspective, that will be investment. In morality, in terms of regarding morals, it will be called that's immorality, it's corruption. You understand? In business, that will be investment. Now, every businessman always needs a return on investment. Therefore, if I spend 10 millions for campaigns, I will be expecting more than the 10 million. What will be the profit margin? I need to gather more than what I have spent. I need to maximize my profit. And that's what these politicians stroke businessmen do. So there's a certain point during the campaigns, they apply the business principle. Yeah? Yes, during the campaigns, it is investment. With we people who check into morals, we say it is immorality, it is corruption. You understand that? But now, if we have people sponsoring these campaigns, this person has nothing to say that they invested in terms of cash. Therefore, they will be accountable for each and every shilling that is coming through the coffers. Let's say if you're an MP, the CDF, you'll be bound to make sure you give that society necessary development required. I mean, there are leaders who have demonstrated that they can make sure that their constituencies develop without having meetings in state house, without shaking hands with the president, because the constitution provides for the allocation of the constituency development funds. Case in study is Peter Salasia, who was used CDF to make sure that the infrastructure in schools is thriving. The education sector, bit by bit, he's changing it. Very soon he will be getting into the health sector, and those key things are the issues that parents actually fight with. So if you solve that one problem at a time, by the 5-year term limit, then you'll understand that this person has really done a lot, despite his nature that people say he's a drunkard. But now see the wisdom that the drunkard man has, as compared to your man who is not even testing any illegal substance or mind-changing substance. You understand that? So, going forward, Mwananchi, the constitution has been there, but we have always been, been put somewhere like a flock of sheep, and we are being remote controlled. Like, here in Nyanza, we've decided it is Raila Amolo Odinga, and everybody goes that direction. You go to Mount Kenya, it is Uhuru Kenyatta, or it is Rigathi, or it is so and so. People move towards that direction. We should free ourselves from that kind of bondage, because we don't belong there in this kind of century. In this particular space and time, we are supposed to liberate ourselves because we have the powers, we have the voice. And the political elite is already shaken because they have seen these kind of generation of people who actually politically based issues is what they discuss. they don't just take hearsays. You give them a hint. They dig deeper the information. They give analysis and therefore come with the right projection of what they really want. They fight with the points. And there was one comedian who was actually creating comedy, but in essence, it was true. He was saying, when the Gen Zs went to the streets, went to the roads to demonstrate, they had pointers, they had an objective, they had things that they wanted solved. Reject the finance bill in totality. Ruto must go. Dissolve the cabinet. Because of 1, 2, 3, and there were reasons as to why we were saying reject the finance bill 2024. There were reasons, I remember. Now, compared to the demonstrations that are always orchestrated by the politicians, let's say, for instance, Raila Amolo Odinga, when they go to the streets, they go with the analogy that they will shake the government, they'll give the government instability so that some portion of the government will be allocated to them. That is how gluttonous these MPs, these leaders have always been. To an extent, right now, you don't understand whether the ODM is in government or in opposition, but you don't need to be told. For us, we already know they are in a government. That is why, on one end, they want to say that they are actually telling the government, criticizing the government for the wrongdoings that are happening. On the other side, they are praising the government. So, who are being played here? And if you've realized, even the delay of reconstituting or appointing the IEBC commissioners is so intentional. Why? They understand that the Gen Zs, the youth in general, are so many, and they're delaying this process of partaking or registering as new voters because they know that these people will vote to an extent that even stealing will be so difficult. So, guys, that is just it. Like you've understand, we should be changing the narrative from a few men sitting down to decide the people to the people, to decide the leaders for the people to the people deciding. Remember, politics in definition is the struggle for power to control resources. Who gets what, where, when, how, and why, right? What's your take on this? Give me your thought in the comment section below. If you're watching from our YouTube channel, kindly subscribe and press the notification button so anytime that we are live or we upload content of this nature, you'll be the very first person to be notified. Ahmed Khalif is my name for the Unscripted Talks here in Durb Radio. I might be wrong, I might be right. Just give me your thought. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Kwa timba kali za Afrika, Durb Radio ndio mpango mzima.